All right. Welcome to our New Year's resolutions workshop. You will need pen and paper today, or if you just want to watch and come back and watch the replay later with pen and paper, that's fine too. Okay, I always say at the beginning of all my workshops, grab a glass of water, everybody. Water ensures efficient electrical and chemical actions between the brain, the nervous system, and the sensory organs. Here's my big glass of water. We can't think and our brain can't function without water, everybody. It's more important for our brain actually than it is for our muscles. So make sure you have a glass of water because we're going to be learning a lot of great stuff today. All right, some of you are from the Facebook group, some of you are from the My Recreo community. I'm so happy. Some of you have been invited by friends, so I'm just going to quickly tell those of you that don't know much about me. My name is Victoria. I've been a resilience and mindset coach for over 20 years. I've been in the wellness industry for over 20 years. I've been a social worker. I've been a personal trainer, nutrition and wellness specialist. I'm a life coach. I've won awards for my community work from the Ministry of Health Promotion here in Ontario, Canada. But most importantly, I'm a wellness and mental health advocate, and I've lived it. I've lived through my own burnout when I was a social worker. And I've learned how to heal and thrive and be kind to myself. So I'm coming to you from experience and from education and certifications and all of those things. And my goal as a teacher, every time I run a class, a workshop, put anything up in the Facebook group, is to give you a bunch of stuff, a bunch of strategies or tools or ideas or motivational nuggets. I don't expect you to take it all away. But if one thing touches you, if you have an aha moment with one thing, or you take one small thing and choose to try and integrate that into your life, that's my goal. Because I believe in the ripple effect. We start with small and slow solutions or small and slow actions, and they all add up to big impact and big change. Okay, so let's do a check-in activity before we start, everybody. I always do a check-in activity at the beginning of a workshop or class and at the end. And we're going to learn about a little bit about why today, actually, but I'm just going to say right now, it's so that we can acknowledge the work that we do. We acknowledge how we feel at the beginning and how we feel at the end. And when we do that, that actually helps the brain acknowledge all of the growth work that we're doing. So give me one word in that chat box right now about how you're feeling coming into today's call. Maybe you're curious. Maybe you love New Year's. Maybe you hate New Year's. Maybe you're feeling tired. Let me know in that chat box about how you're feeling or why you're interested in coming to today's workshop. We've got excited, optimistic, and intrigued, curious, lots of curiouses, lots of excited, stuffy. Yeah, I had a little bit of a cold over the holidays too. Blah, it's a great descriptor word. Never do resolutions in curious, ready. All right. So remember how you feel, and we'll do a checkout at the very end of the workshop as well. Interested in new ideas. We've got lots of people that love learning here. I love it. Okay. One of my favorite quotes is, even if you try and you fail, you will still learn something, and that is going to get you closer to where you want to be. And I think that's kind of a nice quote when we think about resolutions, because a lot of the times we might not succeed in them, but maybe kind of a positive mindset is we can still take something from it, right? It's about taking action. It's about taking action. And a lot of the times we get tricked when we set resolutions or goals. The brain actually has this kind of defense mechanism that when we think about doing something, we get rewarded, and then we don't actually follow through on doing it because we already got a little bit of a reward from thinking about doing it. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that today. So it's about taking action. Okay, so why do we keep falling back into our old habits? So I'm going to talk to you for a little bit about a little bit of brain science stuff, and then I'm going to take you through an activity today. So why do we keep falling back into our old habits? The truth is we're actually setting ourselves up for failure when we set New Year's resolutions. If we don't set them in a way that actually works with how our brains work. So most resolutions are based on a negative, or based on guilt, or based on not feeling good about ourselves, or there might be based on punishing ourselves, even though we don't think we're punishing ourselves with the resolution, punishing ourselves through what we did in the previous year. They're mostly based in the formula of scarcity or depriving ourselves. So curious question, you can put a hands up, you can use the emoji hands up if you want, or let me know in the chat box with a yes or a no. Who here usually or feels maybe pressured to do those New Year's resolutions that are about weight loss, eating healthier, maybe turns into like a body image thing? Who here usually does those kinds of New Year's resolutions? Let me know. Fitness, right? The truth is that most of those, yeah, we've got a couple hands up, a couple yeses. Yeah, we've got in my old life, yes, yeah. Yes, 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 and yes, lots of yeps. Okay. So, okay, it's a unanimous yes, I think. The truth is that most of those goals, resolutions, intentions, whatever you want to call them, they're based on depriving ourselves of something or punishing ourselves for something. How about this one? I'm going to work out 5 days a week, every week this year. Even when I'm tired, even when my body's sore, I'm still going to push it, right? That's almost like punishment. And there's a reason it's called working out, right? Like it's work. We don't all love it when we're doing it, but we love how we feel after, right? That's almost like punishment or guilt. I put on too much weight over the holidays. I'm not eating well. I ate too much sugar, right? So depriving ourselves and guilting ourselves. That doesn't feel good, does it? So when we're doing that, we constantly send a message to our brain that we're a failure by not meeting our high expectations. Because usually what we do is we set New Year's resolutions that are super high expectations, and they're unrealistic, right? It's unrealistic to think I'm going to work out 5 days a week, 52 weeks this year, right? We set these unrealistic or really high expectations. Or I mean, maybe you already work out 5 days a week. That's great. That's a realistic for you. But if you've never worked out at all or didn't work out at all in the past 6 months, and you set this expectation that you're going to work out 5 days a week, your body can't just jump into that, right? So the truth is that the brain doesn't want us to change. It loves the way things are. It loves our habits. It loves the status quo because it's comfortable. And what happens is when we fail our New Year's resolutions or our goals, or it can be as quickly as this: I'm going to start by going for a walk on Monday. Monday comes, I'm too tired. I failed because I didn't go for a walk on Monday. But what's the first thought you think? Who do you blame? We blame ourselves, right? We guilt ourselves and we blame ourselves. But the truth is that we didn't fail on purpose. So there's no reason we should be judging ourselves. We aren't lazy. It's simply that the brain is resisting change. It's resisting what doesn't feel good, and change never feels good to the brain. If it feels like we can't do it, if it feels like it's going to take a bunch of effort, if it's something new and totally different, the brain will always revert back to established habits because it takes energy. It actually burns calories to change a thought. It takes energy to change our brain, because what we're doing when we make change is actually changing the nerves in our brain, our neurological pathways. So we need to stop with this guilting ourselves when we feel like we're failing. So I'm going to give you a little brain science. Here's what's happening in your brain. I'm going to talk to you about 3 neurochemicals, sometimes they're called hormones, that are happening in our brain. We've got dopamine. It's the motivator. It's our feel-good chemical that the brain releases before we perform a task. So when we're thinking about performing a task, it's actually gets us excited when we're in the planning stage, because the planning stage is easy because we're not taking action, right? Its job is to encourage us to think about it. It's actually the easiest stage to be in, is thinking about it. We get excited, we get dopamine. But here's the catch-22 of that one. We get excited, we get dopamine, which makes us feel happy, joy. It's one of the happiness hormones. That's the trick. We set the goals, we get excited about them, and the brain actually tricks you to thinking, oh, I already got a reward for it. I already did it. I don't need to take action, which is what happens a lot of times when we set goals. Or for me, I my brain likes to trick me. I practice having a conversation with someone in my head, maybe some conflict resolution or something, and then your brain might think it already happens, right? You're like, no, we talked about this. And your friend or family member is like, no, we didn't talk about this, right? So we have to be aware of taking action. Yeah, we've got in the chat box. No wonder I love planning travel so much. Yeah, planning a trip, because we actually get one of the happiness hormones when we plan things. But it backfires when we don't take action, because then we get guilt. So serotonin is more of that, like, it's not excitement, it's more of like an even keeled joy, or can also be a euphoric joy. So it's actually joy, right? Whereas dopamine's excitement. It flows through you when you feel accomplished, important, or significant, when you've taken action or when you've achieved something. So a great example is when you've won a race. If you're an athlete, I used to be a rower, so like when I won a rowing race, right? That's serotonin. Serotonin's what you get for taking action. And that's the reason why we do a check-in and a check-out at the beginning of all my workshops, because it can be hard to acknowledge we've taken action if it's not physical, if we've been learning or thinking as a form of action, changing thought patterns as a form of action, learning something new. So at the end of all my workshops, that's why we do the checkout, so that we can actually get that serotonin bump, that serotonin that says, oh, I did something today. This was action. And then here we go. Here's the guilt, right? Here's the punisher. When we don't achieve things, we get cortisol. And that flows through you when you feel stressed. It can put you into fight, flight, or freeze mode. So when we don't achieve our goal, or when we don't take action on our intention or our resolution, we feel guilty and we punish ourselves. And what does that do? It can create low self-esteem. It can create inner thoughts or inner monologue that says, oh, well, I'm lazy, you're a failure, those sorts of thoughts, right? I didn't do this goal. Sound familiar? We get into a kind of a guilt cycle. So the result, when we're setting those New Year's goals that are maybe unrealistic or really high expectations that are unrealistic, or really big, lofty, it's a cycle of setting ourselves up to feel stressed out, overwhelmed, and a sense of failure. And that doesn't feel good, right? Or the other thing that can happen is we feel these things and we ignore these emotions or push them down, which many of you know we talk about in Letting Go class. We push these emotions down when we feel failure, stressed out, and we end up discharging. And discharging is when we release all those emotions in an uncontrolled way, like yelling at someone. So I want to talk a little bit about short-term goals, because I believe the way to go is short-term goals instead of big long-term goals. So I want to talk about short-term goals. And by short-term goals, I mean a weekly goal or a monthly goal at the most. So I want you to forget about the SMART goal. So I'm curious, let me know in the chat box, who's heard of the SMART goal? Who maybe in their professional career heard it? Who's heard it, maybe on social media or in the media? It's a big one. I don't even know where it came from. Maybe somebody does. It's been around for quite a while, and it started in the professional world. Forget the SMART goal. So the SMART goal stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time. It's used a lot in the wellness industry. And again, I've been in the wellness industry for 25 years. I've worked at gyms. I've worked at physiotherapy offices. I've been a life coach. I've done it all. And there's a lot of pressure in the wellness industry right now. And you gotta wade through everything, all that messaging that's being bombarded at us. And the SMART goal is one that's really bombarded at us this time of year. So it's saying your goal should be specific. It should be measurable. So like, I'm going to do 5 workouts a week. And specific means like, I'm going to do those workouts on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It should be attainable, realistic, and should have a time. And I'm going to do this and lose 20 pounds in 2 months. Okay, that's kind of an example of writing it out. But the thing is that when we get too specific, it sets us up for failure. When we create timelines that are too rigid, it can hinder us. I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 months, and then the 2 months comes and we didn't lose the 20 pounds. Guilt, I'm lazy, I didn't work hard enough, I didn't do the things, I shouldn't have had that one chocolate bar on that one day when I was feeling really depressed and it just made me feel better, right? Like, for example, if we always rely on Monday to start taking action, then we are setting up an excuse and a boundary that prevents us from taking action. I'm going to start eating healthy on Monday. And Monday comes and you haven't gone grocery shopping yet, and you only have a box of donuts on the counter and you eat a donut for breakfast. Well, I guess I didn't start eating healthy on Monday. I'll wait till next Monday. Right? And there's also no reward system in place with the SMART goal. Right? And as we learned from the chemicals going on in our brain, we need more. We need a reward, and we need more than just reaching the goal as a reward too. Okay, good. I'm looking at the chat box now here. We've got lots about the SMART goals. Yes, always encouraged to set SMART goals. Yeah, performance measurement in work life. So I'm going to tell you why I don't love the SMART goal. Because it encourages us to set unrealistic expectations, and because it's too rigid. We need to work in kindness and forgiveness for ourselves. Because if we don't work in kindness or forgiveness for ourselves, we guilt ourselves, or we name call ourselves, right? We call ourselves lazy. We do these things, right? So I'm going to talk to you for a little bit about how to actually a different method than the SMART goal. And then I've got something really special. So this is for shorter term goals. I did this in this order instead of talking about the yearly thing, which I'm going to talk about after this, because I want to give you all the science kind of stuff first. Okay, so resolutions or goals can work in the shorter term, but not when we make a resolution for the entire year. Okay, so setting goals each month is actually, and studies have shown this, is actually a better method to taking action and achieving success. So it could be you set your goals for a week, or I would say 2 months max. I actually like 1 month better. A week to a month. And setting these shorter goals will tie into a bigger goal, which is what I'm going to talk about at the end. Okay, so studies show that setting those shorter term goals, anything longer, we get distracted and we fail. So I'm going to give you 2 strategies today on how to set short-term goals. The first one is build it up and break it down. So start with what you want to achieve in that week, maybe, okay? In your week or in a month. Start with what you want to achieve. For example, I want to get fitter by working out. And then you want to break it down into what you can have or can do instead of what you can't. Because when we focus on what we can't or what we're depriving ourselves of, the brain gets frustrated, and that's all it hears. Okay, so what I can do squats and I can do push-ups. Okay, great. Or maybe I can do walking. And this is where we get realistic here, right? We're not setting goals that are too high of an expectation. Okay, so you can do push-ups, you can do squats. How many times per week do you think you could do that? So we're going to build it up here. I would like to work out 3 times a week. Okay, then we're going to break that down into smaller pieces. In that workout, I'm going to focus on what I can do. I can do 20 squats and 20 push-ups each workout. Okay, then we're going to add that all together. Okay, so I can do 20 push-ups and 20 squats in each workout. I think I did the math wrong here. I think I should have said 15 or 15, but 20 squats and 20 push-ups in each workout. So we're going to do 3 workouts a week. That means, oh, I did the math right. That means I can do 60 squats and 60 push-ups in a week. Right? So we built it up, but then we broke it back down into smaller pieces. When you do that, You're setting the goal as a reasonable number you can achieve based on what's happening in your life at the time. So this week, my goal is to do 60 push-ups and 60 squats. You won't fail because guess what's happened? We've taken away the specific part. And the SMART goal that people talk about, specific is usually days, dates, and times. We've been specific about what instead of dates and times. And so Monday comes. So with the old way, we said, I'm going to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday comes, we don't work out. I'm going to start next Monday. Or I'm a failure. Why can't I motivate myself to do this? Said Monday comes. Okay, I didn't do it today, but I still have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to get in my 60 push-ups and my 60 squats. So maybe I can do 10 push-ups and 10 squats tomorrow. Then I still have 50 left, but I can do that. It's manageable. So you want to make your number manageable too, that if you get to Friday or Saturday or Sunday, you can still fit it in. We're always setting ourselves up into a success loop. So that's the building up and breaking down method, I call it, right? So by making the goal something that you can do throughout the week and getting rid of being uber specific, you're more likely to achieve it. And by making it something reasonable and manageable. And then the next week, you make it a bigger number or you make it different exercises, right? And if you don't start on Monday, that's okay. You're getting rid of the guilt cycle. That guilt cycle, if I didn't start this week, it's ruined. I might as well wait till next week. You're like, okay, I didn't do it today. I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm tired today. I'm still recovering. I need to do a bit more prep work. I can still achieve my weekly goal and I can start tomorrow. Here's one of the keys. We need rewards, acknowledgement, and fulfillment, everybody. We need rewards for acknowledging that we did the work, acknowledging the achievement, and that's going to keep the dopamine flowing and the serotonin flowing. Okay, when we get the reward, we're like, oh, that's exciting. And I want to challenge myself to do 25 squats next week instead of 20. Okay, so that's the dopamine. We start planning. We almost get addicted to planning, or the brain gets excited about planning. And we also get the serotonin when we give ourselves a reward or acknowledgement. So we're getting both of those happiness hormones and the motivator hormones in there. So how do we do rewards? So one thing that I like is to choose a reward when you set the goal, not after you've achieved it. So the reward is kind of the carrot we're dangling in front of us, and it's causing the dopamine to continue to flow and motivate. So the dopamine's flowing to motivate us because we've decided what we're going to do and it feels really good to plan. But then we also get the dopamine because we get excited about the reward. My only caution is don't always make it food. Right? Food is an easy reward. If I do this, I'm going to eat the chocolate cake. Okay, you can make a food every once in a while, but make it something else. If I do this, I'm going to I'm going to watch a little mind-numbing television and maybe binge watch a couple episodes of my favorite show on Netflix. Or I'm going to put a dollar into a jar, and at the end of the month every week, or $5, whatever, I'm going to go out and go to a cafe or go to the movies or something like that. Okay, so start to be creative with your rewards. Track your numbers, right? So each day as you do whatever your small number is, it adds up. They add up to big numbers, and that tells your brain you're succeeding, and that's also a reward. You're also going to get the serotonin from that. So that's method 1. Build it up and break it down. Again, these are for short-term goals, everybody. So strategy two are for a little bit longer, maybe a 30 or 60 day goals. Maybe even 3 months, but no longer than 3 months. So here's strategy 2. We're going to set our goal or intention for the month. And strategy 2 really focuses on rewards. So like our brains work differently, right? Strategy 1 works really well if you like structure, you like to track things, you get excited when you like make an Excel spreadsheet or a chart, okay? Strategy 1 works really well for that. Strategy 2 is if you're like, I need rewards and motivation, okay? So strategy 2 is you're going to set your goal and you're going to set your rewards at the same time. And here's the key. You're going to set 3 levels of rewards. So 3 levels of rewards. I'm going to just talk at you for a sec on this one. You're going to set a reward. If you just took one step, you're going to get a reward. So for example, if you're if you're I will see you next time. If your reward, if you just, your goal is to walk and you put your shoes on and you got out the door and you walked for 1 minute, set a reward for that. Then set a reward that's kind of the middle level. I'm going to walk 45 minutes this week. Set a reward for that. And then set a reward that's maybe a little higher. I'm going to, if I walk 2 hours this week. Okay. So the reward, if I put my shoes on and walk out the door and just walk for 1 minute, I'm going to put $2 in my piggy bank, or I'm going to go buy myself a coffee, or I'm going to go get myself a treat, right? Then set a bigger reward for the middle level one. I'm going to binge watch 2 episodes of my favorite show on Netflix, and then set a bigger reward if you achieve the bigger goal. But you know what we're doing here? Doesn't matter which level of the goal you achieved, you're always going to get a reward. So you're always, again, giving yourself the motivation, right? You're always being kind to yourself. You're saying, you know what? I didn't get to 45 minutes this week, but I acknowledge that I did 1 minute of walking this week. And you're always going to get yourself a reward. Okay. So then what you're going to do in this process is you're going to write down all the small tasks you need to do to achieve the feeling, intention, or goal. Nothing's too small. You're going to write them in order that makes sense to you. So again, let's use the walking analogy here. I want to walk 45 minutes this week. Okay, what do I need to do that? I need to check the weather every day to make sure I can go outside. I need to make sure I have good socks. I need to make sure I have good shoes that are going to support me. I need to know what outfit I'm going to wear. I need to have my watch on to time it, or my phone, right? No task is too small. Write them all down in order that makes sense to you. And when you're doing that, you're giving yourself the dopamine because we're making the list. And then you're going to write your tasks on a calendar. Okay? So it's important not to do more than 2 to 3 tasks per day. So maybe you want to walk 45 minutes this week, but on Monday, you're going to check your shoes, check your socks, and check the weather. And then you're going to schedule based on the weather the days that you might want to go walking. Okay? So then on Tuesday, you're going to go walking. All right? So just like small tasks. You're going to get a reward each time you check off those tasks too. Use colors, use stickers, draw, be creative, because again, the brain loves being creative. So here's an example. You can put it in a calendar. You can make Post-it notes and do your tasks and rip them off the wall and crunch them up when you do them. You can cross them off, because every time you do something tactile, you're getting a reward. You can put pins, different colored pins, and have a different pin for a different achievement, right? You can make it simple, but make it fun. And you're getting rewards. Okay. So that's how to set your short-term goals, everybody. But let's think long-term. Let's do something radically different this year. Let's not set a New Year's resolution for the whole year. So this is all going to tie into those short-term strategies that I just told you. So stay with me, everybody. Stay with me. Let's forget the New Year's resolutions. 92% of people set goals and resolutions and never achieve them. That's a massive number. The truth is that many of us aren't actually goal-oriented in the traditional sense. Setting goals doesn't work for us. Our brain fights against it. We can't come up with a goal, so we just come up with a really unrealistic goal or one that has high expectations. And New Year's resolutions have been taught to us in kind of a one-fits-all strategy, and it's mostly around our bodies, fitness, and food. But what we are really craving when we set those goals around our bodies, fitness, and food, or health, is the feelings that brings us. We're really craving fulfillment, satisfaction, freedom, joy, anything else. Write it in that chat box for me. What do you really want? Right? And that's an inside job. So we could lose 20 pounds or 10 pounds and feel great, but still have that inner monologue or still have a sense of not being fully satisfied or fully fulfilled, right? It won't come from just focusing on those things. We need to meet our emotional needs. So here's a review of what our emotional needs are, everybody. The 6 human emotional needs. If one of these is out of alignment, they don't all have to be equally balanced, but they just need to be met. If we're not meeting one of them, we're never going to feel those things that we want. Satisfaction, fulfillment, joy, less worry, freedom. We need to meet the emotional needs. This is the human brain. So what are the 6 emotional needs? Certainty. Assurance that you can avoid pain and gain pleasure. And with certainty, I even say just being certain of anything, because that makes us feel safe and in control. And that helps us avoid pain and gain pleasure. So if you can't think of anything you're certain of, I'm like for sure certain that I know for sure that 1 + 1 = 2. I'm a smart. Right? I'm smart. I know 1 + 1 = 2. Right? We also need uncertainty, but I like to call it variety. We need change, new stimulus, the unknown, because it's exciting, right? Things that are exciting, they give us the dopamine. They get us excited about the future. We need significance. We need to feel unique, important, special, or needed. We need connection and love. So it's a strong feeling of closeness or union with someone. And I also put something because I think pets are so important for love, right? So someone or some animal, I'm going to say, or maybe even a plant, but you don't know if the plant's giving you love back, but the pets are for sure. We need growth. That kind of goes along with uncertainty and variety. We need to expand our capacity, capability, and understanding. It feels good. It feels good to come to workshops like this, to learn new things, right? We need contribution. Contribution is a sense of service and focus on helping others, giving to and supporting others. Many times in my experience as a life coach and social worker, the two that are missing the most often are growth and contribution. Growth and contribution are the ones that are usually out of balance. Personal growth, contribution, being of service. So this is what I'm proposing, everybody. Let's focus on our emotional needs this year. Let's create a yearly theme instead of a really huge New Year's goal or 2023 goal, like I'm going to lose 50 pounds this year, or I'm going to eat healthy every day and eat less sugar. Let's create a theme, because when we create a theme, we can then use that theme to guide those 2 strategies I taught you, those short-term strategies. We can tie them into the theme. So get your pen and paper out, everybody. We're going to do this together. Okay, so what is a theme and why would we do it? So a yearly theme acts as your North Star, guides you towards your vision of what you want your life to be. And it keeps you grounded and keeps you aligned with your core values, because they can really get away with us if we don't stay present with them or focus on them or even know what they are. A New Year's theme allows you to focus on who you are rather than what you want. And when we focus on who we are, we more easily and naturally can focus on meeting our emotional needs. And that leads us into what we really are craving: fulfillment, satisfaction, connection, right? It's more, a yearly theme is more fluid than a SMART goal. It allows you to embrace every day and get off the hamster wheel of setting the goal, or get off the hamster wheel of the guilt cycle, right? Of categorizing your choices into good and bad and guilting ourselves. We can stop punishing ourselves. And a New Year theme or a yearly theme can allow you to find peace and happiness in the present while still looking to the future. So grab your pencils, paper, markers, fun colors, anything you have. Let's find your theme. And it might not come to you today, but I'm going to take you through this. You can come back and watch the video again. But let's see if we can find a theme. And everybody's will be different. So here's a little motivation. A little motivation. This was a Facebook post. If anybody's not in the Facebook group, there's a lot of great posts. A lot of people are putting up some great posts right now, and I appreciate them and I look at all of them. This was a Facebook post, I think. A message to myself. This is just kind of get the creative juices flowing for you before we get started. I will be present. I will chase more dreams and less people. I will only associate with people who have pure intentions. I will be mindful of self-limiting thoughts. I will laugh more. I will be mindful of self-sabotaging behaviors. I will protect and nourish my inner child. I will only say yes or no when I mean it. I will communicate better with others. I will not fall back into toxic cycles with people. I will embrace change. I will set and stick to my boundaries. I will do what it takes to honor my mental health. I will make the most of what I have to work with. I will always find time to dance. I like sing. I will accept myself. If anything came up for you when you saw that, just scribble it on the corner of a piece of paper, your piece of paper. So here we go. What I want you to do, everybody, I want you to take your piece of paper and I just want you to draw a line horizontally and a line. I want you to divide your piece of paper into 4 sections. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that on the screen? Just divide your piece of paper into 4 sections. Okay? If you're using like a journal that's smaller or something, just have 4 pages. Okay? 4 sections or 4 pages. In the top left-hand corner, I want you to write step 1. All right. The next one over here, we're going to write step 2, step 3, and step 4. Or here isn't step 4. This is going to be my theme. Okay. Step 1, 1 box is for step 1, 1's for step 2, step 3, and my theme. And I'm using a purple pen because purple's my power color. So you should always have fun with these things. You can draw too. You don't have to necessarily write all the words. If your mind likes to draw pictures to remember things, you can do that too as we go through this process. So here's I'm going to show you this. I'm going to put this up actually for you. Okay. So step 1, we're going to reflect on 2022. Okay. We're going to do a little reflection. So sit back, ego, recognize that we're not perfect and we're allowed to reflect and learn from our life experience. So just say to your ego, it's okay. I'm going to reflect. I'm going to learn from 2022. So in that step 1 box, I want you to answer some of these questions. You don't have to answer all of them, but let's just reflect on the past year. And again, this is just for you. You don't have to share with anyone. How was 2022 for you? Did life put you through the ringer? Or was it even keeled? Was it mediocre? Were you living in a state of constant routine and monotony? Did it pass by in the blink of an eye and you have no idea where time went? Was it a great year? Was it an awesome year and you want to keep that momentum? I'm just going to give you a minute or two to answer those questions or write down anything else that comes to you as you reflect on the past year. Just free flow journal. And as you're writing, I'm curious, if you could give 2022 a movie title or a name or maybe even 1 or 2 words, let's give 2022 a theme or something, a word that comes to you or a made up movie title that comes to you or a made up line of a poem or a phrase that comes to you. what would you call 2022? And if you want to share, let us know in the chat box because I love how everybody's brain is different and everybody comes up with different things in different ways and is creative in different ways. And there's no right or wrong answer. For me, as many of you know, 2022 for me was the year of the surgery. I had surgery, I had benign tumors removed. It was the year of the surgery and the year of stepping back. Yeah, we've got it was a self-care year, the year of self-care, Return of the Living Dead. These are great. Okay. I've got a couple more questions for you for step 1. Sorry. If you could change 1 or 2 things about last year, what would it be? Would you spend more time with family? Would you be more present? Would you have better boundaries? Would you focus more on your self-care? Perhaps radical self-care? Would you create more stability in your life, improve communication, maybe focus on hobbies and passions? I'm giving you a lot here. You don't have to answer them all. I'm just trying to give you ideas to kind of waken up your creative process. If you could change things about last year, what would it be? Ooh, day in and day out is a great one. So I'll give you a couple minutes to journal that. We're still on the step 1 box. We're reflecting. And we're not reflecting as a way to guilt ourselves. We're reflecting as a way to learn, right? I wish I'd spent more time doing this, and I probably could find more time to doing this. Does that mean that I want to do that and want to include it in 2023? Maybe, yeah. Or maybe the answers to these questions are things you want to learn about in 2023. Okay, let's move on to step 2. I want you to think big picture. So we want to let go of the kinds of thoughts that naturally come to us because we're preconditioned to think them. Whenever we think about the year ahead, I want to lose 20 pounds by Judy's wedding. I want to get that thing, but I don't really need it, but I feel like getting that material thing will make me happy. We want to get rid of those kinds of goals. And we want to go deeper into what you really want in life. So instead, in your step 2 box, and you can write think big picture at the top of that box if you want to. Answer some of these questions and I'll leave them up on the screen for you. How do you want to feel each day when you wake up? How do you want to show up for your family, your kids, your spouse, your friends, yourself? How do you want to be spending your time? And if any of those little thoughts come in, the but thoughts are like, I want to do this, but I can't. This is about what you want. Don't worry about if you can or cannot do it. How do you want to feel? What's important to you in life? Do you want more love, better health, more social connection, more spirituality, more happiness, more joy? We can go back to the 6 emotional needs. Do I want to feel more connected and loved? Do I want to be of service more? Do I want more opportunities for personal growth? Do I want more opportunities to feel certain and safe? Do I want more to take more risks so I feel uncertain and get variety in my life? So just take a moment to answer these and any other things that come up for you in terms of big picture. Okay, step 3. I know I'm going through this quite quickly, so you can always come back and watch the video. So step 3, words. We love words. I know many of you love words in this group. Look back at what you have written. in your step 1 and step 2 box, and that's your starting point for this year. So if you have a highlighter, great. If you have a different colored pen, great. Or just use the same one. I want you to go through what you wrote in box 1 and box 2 and circle or highlight any words or phrases or thoughts that stand out for you. Or when you go back and read that, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes to do this. When you go back and read that, journal any other thoughts that come up for you. So I'm going to maybe go back to these ones for you, these questions for you. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll put up, while you're doing that, I'm going to put the emotional needs back up. I'm just going to put the emotional needs slides up there for you so that if you want to write any of these down in there or highlight any of these, you can do that as well. And if any fun words come up for you, you want to share anything in the chat box, feel free. Okay, so you've got some words, maybe some phrases. So usually what I would say here is you've highlighted, you've journaled, you've awoken some thought processes or patterns, you've created kind of an awareness in your brain. I would say take a step back, go for a walk, sleep on it. But today we're gonna go through the process. But after we go through the whole process, you can come back to this part too, okay? I want you to pick your top 5 words or phrases in there. So if you circled 10 things, I want you to pick the top 5. The top 5 words or phrases that are the most important to you. And highlight those, maybe with a different color, maybe with a squiggly line instead of a straight line. Now, out of those top 5, I want you to pick 1 or 2 feelings or themes that might come up with you from those top 5 things that you circled. What's the most important? What feels really right to you and your intentions of what you want to be and how you want to show up each day? And I want you to start writing those in your My Theme box, in the 4th box, your top 1 or 2. Yeah. So you went through, you circled like 5, maybe 5 words or phrases. Out of those 5, I want you to pick the 2, 1 or 2. It can be 1 that feel right, the most right to you, that you feel the most connected to, maybe that you feel the most inspired by, that meet your intentions of who you want to be this year, how you want to live your life this year, and how you want to show up each day. Give me 1 second. Olivia the cat was in here. She's scratching at the door. I gotta let her out. I know, I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna make your theme now. So you've kind of got your intention. Now we're gonna write it out into a theme. Okay, so whatever came up for you. Yeah, here we go. We've got, I want to be more focused and excited about my day, my month, and my year. That's great. That right. We're basing on who you are and how you want to feel this year, right? That's what your theme is. Who you are, how you want to feel, how you want to show up every day. Perfect. I love it. Love it. Okay. If you're thinking, I don't know how to work this into a sentence, how do I make this into a theme? I've got a couple more stuff to kind of get the creative juices going for you. Okay, everyone? Here we go. Look at all these words. Just one word could be a theme for a year. It doesn't have to be a phrase. Remember, the theme is your guiding light for the year, or your grounding intention or purpose for the year, if you want to think about it that. If you like to look up, it's your guiding star. If you like to feel grounded and connected to the earth, it's your grounding purpose. Okay. But look at all these beautiful words. You could use any of these words. I'm gonna put this up in the Facebook group and in the digital download library if you're a member of My Recreo, everybody, so you can print this out. I think it's 150 words. It might be 140. I don't know if I counted right, but inspiring theme words. Yeah, so it can be, your theme can be a word for the year, or it can be a phrase. But then I also wanted to give you some ideas of what would be good themes for the year. So some other ideas. So here's some other ideas, some more phrases for inspiration. Do the things you love more often. Let go of people or situations that drain you. Sometimes I need to get uncomfortable to be comfortable. So ideas for themes could be, this year my theme is investing in me. This year my theme is hydrating my spirit. This year my theme is setting boundaries. This year is the year of radical self-care. The year of owning my power. The year of being vulnerable and learning. The year to simplify and minimize. The year of leading with love. So a few words or a phrase, that can be your theme for the year. So what do you do with it? So if anybody's got anything coming up, I'd love to hear what they are in the chat box. Here's what you do with it. Here's the brain science while you guys are writing stuff down. The brain needs consistent, persistent repetition. So write it on a Post-it note. Write it in whiteboard marker on your bathroom mirror. I usually put my words or intentions, I take a Post-it note and I put it right here on my computer, right beside my mouse pad on my laptop. Because when I'm making business decisions or I'm making decisions about my work-life balance, I can look down and ask myself, does this decision align with my theme for this year? Does this decision align with my theme for this year? Taking on extra work, if my theme is self-care, does it align with that? Right? So we have it in places where we can be constantly reminded, because what you're going to do with that theme is when you find yourself in a place where you're making decisions on actions to take, you're going to ask yourself, does this align with my theme for this year? It's going to keep you grounded or keep guiding you in your theme for the year. Unleashing my creativity. Anuba, I think you're going to have the year of music. That might be your theme. The year of music, or the year of love for music, or music appreciation. Yeah, love these. The year of adventure, the year of feeling peaceful. These are great. So now what you do with it, be creative. Make a poster. Put it on a Post-it note. Use whiteboard markers. Paint a picture with the word on it. Be creative in many different ways, right? Have it around in your life so that you're constantly reminded to keep you grounded and to keep guiding you throughout 2022. Bedside table is a great one. The fridge is a great one. Post-it note on the fridge, in the car, in your purse. Many of you know I like to write things on rocks, like little small rocks, write a word on a rock, and then I'm going through my purse and I find my rock and it reminds me of my word for the year, right? So you have to be creative and write them down. Yeah, Nancy, I'll post the PDF of the whole presentation as well as the recording. Yeah. The year of strong and useful. Love it. Ooh, Roma, that's a great suggestion. My life as a musical. Be energetic and amusing. Right. That was pretty easy, right? We just came up with our theme, but doesn't it, for me, when I come up with it, it's immediately feels grounding, right? do these choices I'm making align with my theme for this year? Or do the choices I'm making, um, are they going to help me live the life I want to live this year? Right? That's what we want to ask ourselves. Year to be happy and energized. Love these. I love these, everybody. So, yeah, less anxiety can be a theme for sure. Maybe flip it to you can have both in there. Does this decision bring me less anxiety and give me more joy? Or what are you looking for to fill that space when you relieve the anxiety? Is it joy? Is it freedom? Is it peace? Is it satisfaction, fulfillment? I love that. Okay, here's another quote I really like that I've seen being posted on Facebook a lot this week. And I like to pull the things that I think are aha moments. Just a reminder that you don't have to make resolutions or huge decisions or big proclamations, which was kind of the theme of today's workshop. You can just set some sweet intentions and take each day as it comes. You can just set a yearly theme and take each day as it comes. And do your best work to stay aligned with it. And you're not going to be perfect every day, and that's okay. But what this is going to do for you, this theme, if you come back to it, you come back to your post-it note, you remember what it is, you come back to your journal, it's going to help guide your actions. So at the very beginning of the workshop, what did I say? I said the brain tricks us. We set New Year's resolutions or we set goals, and oftentimes we never take action because the brain just feels good about setting them. We get that dopamine hit. But having that theme word or phrase guides your actions. And when you take action, you're moving forward. When you take actions, you're getting closer and you're taking actions to meet your emotional needs, to focus on who you are and how those actions help you feel what you need to feel emotionally and shape who you are, not what you want. So it will help guide your actions towards fulfilling who you are instead of what we want, if that makes sense. Yeah, and sometimes the smallest choices can align with the theme, right? Drinking water can align with your theme. If your theme was hydrating your spirit, I love that one. I found that one somewhere. Drinking water hydrates your spirit and your body and your brain and everything, right? So the simplest actions can align with your theme. So here's what we learned today, everybody. Why we've been setting or how we've been setting ourselves up for failure, because the brain doesn't actually work the way all the pressures and expectations of New Year's resolutions doesn't work with our brain. We learned some brain science. We learned how to use and encourage our neurotransmitters. We learned short-term strategies. So now what you can do now that you have your theme, you can say at the beginning of every month or the beginning of every week, I'm going to set some short-term strategies, but I'm going to use my theme as my guiding light for those strategies. It doesn't need to be about fitness. I know I use fitness as an example, but it could be, I want to spend more time this year, this month, with my nephew, who many of you know is here from Australia, right? So how am I going to do that? Okay, so you use your short-term strategies, the two strategies I showed you, for your weekly or monthly goals. And then we learned how to set a yearly theme and we went through that whole process. If you are a member of My Rec Rio or interested in becoming a member of My Rec Rio, I'm going to continue with this idea of the yearly theme in our Letting Go class tomorrow on reflection of the last year and moving forward in the Letting Go mindfulness and meditation class tomorrow. So here's my checkout, everybody. I have a few questions for you. Did you have an aha moment? Let me know in the chat box. Did you have an aha moment or did you learn something new? Is there anything you're excited about? Did you get a dopamine hit? What did you learn today that you're going to put into action? And you can give me one word maybe about how you're feeling now. Did you have an aha moment What did you learn today that you're going to put into action? And how are you feeling now? And are you ready to keep learning and growing this year? Because it's nice to end a workshop with a yes. Let me know in that chat box. I'll just put this up really quickly. I know most of you remember, some of you are Facebook. But if you really enjoyed this workshop, everybody, or if you're watching the replay on the Facebook group, this is the kind of stuff we do inside the MyRecReo membership subscription. We do fitness classes, but we also do amazing stuff like this, personal growth. We do our letting go class meditation. We do a brain fitness class once a week. So if you're interested in that, head over to myrecreo.health and check it out. Okay, let's see what we've got in that chat box for that checkout. Yeah, I enjoyed it. We've got yeses. Yes, I want to learn more. Small, reachable goals is better than the big, lofty goals. Yeah. Feeling overwhelmed by the excited and a bit overwhelmed by the possibilities. That's a good thing, right? It's okay to feel uncomfortable to get comfortable. And that's why I'm going to give everybody the recording to watch again and also the presentation. Okay, so you can go through it on your own at your own time. There's no pressure to do it quickly. Really enjoyed it. Confirmed how I was already planning the year. That's great. Yeah. Good. There's lots of reassured I was on the right track. I love that, everybody. Optimistic. Great. Yeah. I love this. My aha moment was my 2 words can be used for the rest of my days. That's right. Energetic and amusing. All right, everybody. I want to thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording now for those of you watching the replay.